Were early sneakers ever worth it? Now, I posed this same question 3 years ago now in 2021. You guys can check out that video. It will be in the description box. And side note, my eyebrows clearly stole the show, at least to me, in that video. It's got me thinking I need to, like, hey, hit my brow tech up, maybe get another microblading tinting appointment because, like, I love the way my brows looked in there. Also, if you take a look in that, like, screenshot that's here on the screen now, half the shoes that were behind me, they're definitely not in my collection anymore because of this big clean out for 2024. So, growth and change, they're amazing because times certainly change. But you guys appreciated the transparency in that video of really assessing what is the cost maybe of an early sneaker, especially if you're a creator in this lane, and did the ROI make sense? And I want to revisit that a little bit now in 2024 just because the landscape has certainly shifted in a major way. Patience pays when you are reviewing shoes, trying to get them out early. That's always going to be a really good recipe to get you a lot of views. But there are still some other tactics and ways in which you can present your content, and it's not always necessarily early, but you can still see a good ROI, and maybe you're only paying retail for that shoe. So we'll touch on that a little bit. And then also just a, reality for me. I was never the person that tried to get you the early reviews. That just wasn't the way I wanted to approach it. I said it then in that video. It still stands now today. It definitely does. It stands. That wasn't the approach that I wanted to take with my channel. And also, I've jokingly said before, I wasn't looking to just be a QVC to show every single shoe. But even in right now, I can look at, let's just say money made then with YouTube versus now. And not always, but there are still some months now where I'm right on par or just under, a few bucks with what some of those months brought in the past, in which I was buying far more shoes. So that's way more videos that's likely to get views and clicks. And then also buying more clothing then. It's certainly shifted in terms of my content based on just where I am in life individually as a person. I speak, I think, a little bit more now from like a commentary perspective, sharing my thoughts on different narratives and rhetoric we're seeing within seeker culture or YouTube from maybe just the consumer side, some of it the creator side, but also just maybe, I don't know, trying to look at things logically from a business perspective as much as I can. Not that I'm an expert in any way, but I've certainly gravitated towards that a little bit more, and I appreciate you guys for showing that you also still rock with some of that content because it's more true to me. And I do love the fact that I can look at my numbers and analytics and go, hey, guess what? Just speaking and being true to myself in this season of not really buying a whole lot of things, but just sharing my thoughts, yeah, that can still generate that revenue, which is great. The other great thing, and I'm really grateful for, just for me personally, with the student loans gone, that certainly changes how much of a factor YouTube income is. Because, and I'm getting to the whole extended video for my student loans, I promise I am. But you'll hear more in that video of why I can really shift how I approach this, the cadence in which I maybe approach this to make it something that is much more of a hobby versus me doing the most, because I am ready for, I'm ready to take a step back a little bit and reclaim some of my time. But let's get into the ROI. Does it make sense? Did it make sense then? For early reviews. How you go to market as a brand or company with a product or service isn't much different in how creators or individuals need to go to market to you as a viewer. You usually can be first, you can be really unique, or you can just offer a lot of quality. But either way, you need to usually provide value in some way that falls into one of those lanes. Now, we understand if you are trying to be first, then hey, you are trying to get early reviews, and I am not discussing this video in the context, and I know the assumption for some people will be made that, oh, well, you can definitely just go get reps and be able to get the early views, and that still works, and then you can go back at a later date and get the real shoe. You can. I am going to make the assumption here that this is based on you getting the actual shoe, not a rep, just to offer context there. So if you're going to get going the route of being first, then hey, that's based on early reviews. If you're looking to be, let's say, unique, you can still garner a lot of views based on what you're showing, because maybe it isn't a shoe that has a lot of hype, but it still may be a shoe that's searched by who? The everyday consumer. You never know. My Nike Waffle 1 still receives like views and things till this day. It does. It blows my mind, but it will still generate views till this day. So it can still work out for you even if you're not going after everything that is hyped, because it still may be a pair that, you know, just the common consumer is searching, or maybe they're Googling. Who knows? But you can also be unique in what is your approach, what is your angle. Like if you take a look at Eddie Wynn, he offers amazing advice, and I think just style inspiration for men, because that's who most of his content is geared towards, but for men that are in their 30s and older. So you're not walking around every single day necessarily in these graphic tees and looking like, you know, what we think of as more of the younger generation. You're not necessarily walking around in that way. You want a little bit more of an elevated casual style, and I think Eddie does an amazing job for that. I see you guys also give him his flowers in the comments, which is great because I too really enjoy his content. And even as a woman, listen, ladies, you can watch his content and you can kind of swap things out to add a more feminine twist, but I think it is really great inspiration and it is something unique. If we're talking quality, then we have Chris at Wear Testers, and he will give you the most extensive historical lesson of any and all sneakers that he presents on his channel, which I think we all really appreciate. So I just wanted to point out those can certainly be two different takes that you have and how you go to market, okay? So me, I'm probably just the weird, unique black sheep that chooses to take a look at it from a personal finance and responsibility and accountability side of things, and I'm happy to continue to do that. I came in doing that, and I'll leave out doing that. All right. So let's just take a look, okay? In terms of the first approach, and you know, did it ever make sense based on the ROI? So I'm definitely going to throw some numbers up here for you, okay? So now we're definitely at $200 a pair. I think I estimated maybe 200 then. We're definitely going to use 200 now, even though a lot of retros are like 215, okay? So 200 a pair, and let's just say you were only buying one pair a week to be able to review on your channel. Now you're up to $800 for the month. Let's just say though you're doing 2 pairs a week because you're really trying to churn out those videos, which a lot of creators are. That's $1,600 just period minimum. I'm not accounting for taxes. I'm not accounting for shipping. None of that, right? So the way you're paid on YouTube, it's called RPM. Okay, so that's based on what you're getting paid like per 1,000 views. Okay, and the RPM is going to be different for different genres and niche areas and lanes within YouTube. But if we just guesstimate that it's $7, right? So we just guesstimate your RPM is $7. So 200,000 views. Let's say you get 200,000 views for 8 pairs. That's averaging 25,000 views, or 25,000 a review. Okay. What we're going to do is take that 200,000 views that you have, we're going to divide it by 1,000, okay? You're going to get 200. So then you can convert and figure out what are you going to make. So 200 times $7, if that's your RPM, you're looking at $1,400, okay? That's what you possibly made, and that's if you get those views. You're still in the red if you spent $1,600 for those sneakers. Like in that current month, you are still in the red. Now you're generating revenue, so taxes are a different thing, what you can write off. However, in that current month, you are still in the red, which means you are negative at that point. I just want to point that out, okay? So for early payers, let's just say you have to pay more, right? It really is a pay-to-play type of game. So let's say, and I'm being very conservative here, that you're only spending an extra $100, but you are certainly probably spending more than that if you're trying to get the shoe early, okay? And again, I said this is a real pair. Let's go to $300 a pair. Again, you're still trying to get as many views as you want, so 2 pairs a month with the way sneakers drop, that's actually a really low number. 2 pairs a week, that's a low number, so we're still at 8 pairs total for the month. Now we've gone up to $2,400. Okay, so let's just say your RPM goes up too, right? Your RPM can go up and down. I see mine go up and down all the time of what they'll pay per 1,000 views. It's just based on advertising and how things work. Let's just say it goes up to $8. I'll give you that. Let's say it goes up to $8. Still based on that number of views, we're saying you're still only getting 200,000 views across 8 reviews for those shoes. That's $1,600, okay? Even though you're getting paid more now. You would need, just so you know the math, you would need like a $12 RPM to be able to just break even. Just to be able to break even. Like, I just want to even break even at 2,400. And that RPM isn't unheard of in the financial space, in the commentary space, certainly not in lifestyle space. But just to kind of pull back the veil to look at the numbers of did it make sense to do the early reviews? I don't know that it did then. I don't know that it always does now. And I say that also because pairs go on sale now. And again, if your personality and just what you're bringing to your audience and to the camera, if that really connects with them and they're pretty loyal and the algorithm does pick you up, there is a likely chance that you could still generate a decent amount of views, not having to spend more to get that shoe. And that's just something I wanted to kind of touch on. Me, myself, again, for any early reviews that were ever done, it was because I got really lucky on exclusive access or early access, or I was blessed to maybe have friends that were able to provide me with the pairs that I wanted for my own personal collection, and then you guys happened to see a review on them. But times have changed and they're different. So I think you, as a creator, if this is what you're doing, need to always have a clear understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it and what is that costing you at the end of the day. And then even if you are just a consumer and you want the shoe early because peace of mind, I don't want to fight with anyone on release day, I get it and I respect that too. So then I would pose this question to you. Once you've paid the early pair, what is, or the paid more for that pair early, what is the overall then cost per wear for you? What's the overall value? Because if you're not wearing the shoe a whole lot, you're going to be paying a whole lot per wear. And that may not make a whole lot of sense either, but you can check that video out. Thank you for tuning in. Please be sure you go ahead and comment your thoughts below. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.